Welcome, everyone, to our Leo Tarot reading for January 2026. Leo. By the way, Leo, Sun, Moon, Rising. Many of you are intuitively guided because I do read through my spirit guides, so your spirit guides will connect with you. Some of you may be in love with the Leo. But I want to tell you what I received as I was pre-shuffling your cards. This is when I'm really connecting with my guides. I want to be your messenger. So, Leo, January is putting the spotlight back on you where I feel like it always belongs. And then love, I was picking up that love is going to show up with intensity, clarity, and really a sense of now or never. Um, and I'm not sure like which direction it is. We'll know when we go to the cards and our guides. Um, and when we shift into your money and career, I heard that this reading will be about stepping into your value without apology. This is a month where my Leos stop shrinking, stop waiting, and start receiving. So we'll dive into love first, and then I'll take you into money and career because both stories this month are going to be deeply connected. I feel it, I know it. So let's go to the cards and our spirit teams. I say spirit teams because my guides definitely connect with your guides, and I believe we're all one big soul family anyway. So, Leo, tarot reading, January 2026. I brought a lot out. So, what we're going to do this month is split the readings up. We're going to do love first and then money. So, for love, I'm going to use the Crystal Vision, the Tarot Dreams, and the Romance Angels. For money, I'm going to use the Gilded Tarot, a deck that I cannot remember the name. I'll probably remember it as we go along, but right now I can't remember the name. And of course, we'll give Mother Mary the honor of opening up your reading. So a lot to unpack, but we can do it. I'm going to go ahead and bring the lid down. By the way, I just want over in the corner there. That's my Leo corner. Sam, my beautiful Sam. That's one of the gifts he gave me for Christmas was a picture of my son, one of my favorite pictures. And I put it with the guitar, and Steve is a Leo, my son, he's a Leo. Um, he has crossed over, as many of you know, but I always feel him, especially, I feel him in all readings, but especially your readings. So let me give a quick shout out to the Leos in my life. My grandson Lexington opens up Leo on July 23rd. My mom was August 5th. My son, August 12th. My soul sister Diane, who I've not heard from in a while, the 16th. And then Sam, my boyfriend, is right on that cusp of Leo and Virgo, but he's actually a Virgo on the 23rd of August. But he claims he's a Leo. So he wants to be a Leo. Who does not want to be a Leo? Really? All right, so let's go ahead and get into this reading. Try to move everything. All right. Let's put those over here. Slide these over. And let's start with Mother Mary. Mother Mary, whispering words of wisdom. Let it be. I remember I was on my bike as a young teenager. I lived in a college town, and I was just riding through the college, and they had a concert. Um, playing, and it was the first time I ever heard the song Let It Be by the Beatles, and it just stopped me in my tracks. It made me like I cried. I just felt it was so beautiful. It touched my soul at such a young age. But those were the days of freedom, or at least we thought. All right, Mother Mary, be strong, be strong. I pull myself up and do what needs to be done. Wow, especially this month, Leo, with the spotlight on you. Let's see if anything else wants to come out. Whoa. Okay. Caring. Heaven cares for me, and I keep my heart open to caring about myself, others, and the world. So don't leave yourself out of the equation, right? You want to care for yourself. And really, that's what helps you be strong. And I'm not talking like egotistically, though. You have a right to do really whatever you want. Um, but I feel that's beautiful. Heaven cares for you and about keeping your heart open. Care about yourself and think about what Spirit gave us before we started the reading. You know, I feel like there's going to be a lot happening for you in January. So I'm excited. Okay. Let's bring in the Tarot of Dreams and let's get into love. Let's see who this now or never energy is. And, because um, my guides gave me that information, I feel like it's going to be for a lot. January readings for many have really felt like personal readings. And that is the way I want it, like soul to soul. And I should have said that you can ask, and you should ask your guides to give you signs of confirmation through a reading. You know what I mean? Like, number one, you should feel it. Like, it should resonate, but you should also feel it. You know what I mean? Like, I get goosebumps all the time in a reading. And it's just my validation. So you can ask your guides, have me say a name, a number, something like that. All right. Let's go ahead and begin. Let's just calm our minds. We have the Four of Swords, healing. I like that this is the first card because I don't know. I just have a feeling 2025 may have not been that easy for many. And this is a great way to go into January. And then I'm thinking about 2025, the year of the Hermit, where we really were, I don't know why I want to say this, but licking our wounds. I don't know, if that's your word, a confirmation, but I feel like we were licking our wounds. Huh. Um, but what I was going to say is I feel like we were looking for clarity and found it. So healing. Five of Cups. Can talk about emotional loss. Definitely can be sadness. But listen, healing is first. So this is a five, and a five asks for change. Fours are about stability. So this healing, and it doesn't mean like I'm completely healed. I don't know that we ever are. You know what I mean? I feel like we always have like these broken little pieces. But then the right people come in and help that healing process. I would call that a soulmate. Interesting I just said that because in the Five of Cups, you can see this person is focusing on the cups that have been knocked over. These are the things that didn't work out. You know, the people who did hurt us. There's two cups up here, and to me, that is a soulmate. This person doesn't know it because their focus is on the past. And I'm not even saying that these two cups can't be someone of the past, but I don't feel like the cup was knocked over because that's what you're healing from. You're healing your emotional house. And I feel like the blessing of that is going to be a soulmate. And then interesting, we have the Emperor. Two fours with a 5 in between. So two fours, steady, and the 5, shaky. The Emperor, card of Aries. But this is really the energy of someone we can look up to. Business ownership. This is someone who is comfortable leading the people. You know, whether it be a person or the world. You know, they have the ability. And it comes through their own experiences. This person's very methodical, puts plans in place. You know, and that's not really your forte, so to speak. So part of me is feeling like this is a person, potentially a soulmate. And I would feel that is good news. Could be, you know, and I hate to say this, but it could be a fellow fire sign. But in a way, I kind of want you to forget that. And it's interesting how I said that, you know, some soulmates do help heal us. Did I say that? I feel like I said that. And this is kind of what I'm feeling right now. All right, let's keep going. Oh, excuse me one second. Okay, I'm back. Someone knocked on my door. All right. You know, I'm looking at the Emperor and I'm thinking he's the pillar of strength. Wow. Okay. Page of Pentacles. 5 of Pentacles. You know, it feels like something happened outside of your control. Um, and this is what you're healing from. 5 of Pentacles is, let me bring this lid down a little bit more. 5 of Pentacles is kind of like that tower. But the Page of Pentacles right there, Page of Pentacles to me is a path of knowledge. And truly, where do I learn my deepest lessons? Through the pain. Through the pain. In the 5 of Pentacles, I don't really feel we have the luxury of, you know, just crying in our bed. Or maybe that's the way it's been, but now I feel like there's movement. You know, this is what you're healing over. It's interesting, the 2 5s. One, potentially something you didn't expect. The other, something that has you down emotionally. But listen, the Emperor right now is in the middle of the reading. And by the way, male or female? Oh, my lights just blinked. Oh, they blinked again. And again. We have the Moon. Card of Pisces, ruler of your neighbor, Cancer. Hello, Empress. Oh my gosh. We have the Emperor and the Empress in love. In love. We have your major arcana, the Strength card. Wow. We are doing love after all. And look at this coming under the Page of Pentacles. It truly is what you've been learning in love and about love. And then the Knight of Wands. So someone might have broken your heart, but this is not the end of the story. It may be the end of the story with that, but this is not the end of your love story at all. Matter of fact, it feels like it's just the beginning of something of a very high vibration. You know, when I see the Emperor and the Empress in a love reading, and let's face it, we have what, 10 cards? And out of those 10 cards, I mean, they chose to come out. Look at this ace, how big it is. Undeniable. Looks like a trophy. Like someone's winning the trophy of love. Why? Because they took the time to understand that everything is teaching them something. Even if I didn't ask for that lesson. Truly, if I reflect upon it, I'll see there is an actual lesson in there. And that lesson may be, well, number one, love, but maybe also who to give your love to. You know, I want to remind you that there are different levels of love. And I definitely feel like you were in love, but something happened. And the Strength card definitely feels like you, like overcoming the time it took to overcome this. But here you are, sitting as the Empress or the Emperor. And you know, when I say that, like the Emperor, right, is represented by a male. The Empress is represented by a female. Um, but I also want to remind you that even Mother Mary many times will call us to bring out our feminine energy. Why? Because I don't know, like myself, many times I'm in my masculine energy. And let's not forget, we carry both. You know, that's really what the Strength card is about. It's looking within, it's understanding, you know, what has gone wrong. It is finding balance between the light and the shadow within yourself. And it truly is a sense of courage. You know, I feel like when you like graduate from the Strength card, you receive the badge of courage. And it's interesting that the Emperor and the Empress are sharing the Strength card and the Five of Cups. Do I think they're in the cups that have been knocked over? No, they're the cups that have yet to come in. And here it is. And by the way, look how it's being ushered in. Passionate. This can be fast moving energy also. But the passion will be undeniable. And it's heading right to the Ace of Cups. And it's mirroring the moon. So the moon can be, you can certainly talk about uncertainties. And, you know, that's something that we have to learn to, like, to overcome. We can't let the uncertainty stop us. You know what I mean? And, you know, if like, if the uncertainty of your next step is something that holds you back, that's where you really want to connect with your guides. Ask them to send you a sign. You know, for many of you, this is your sign. This is your sign. And this has the opportunity of being very dreamy, very passionate. And the Emperor and the Empress together, the Emperor and the Empress, did I say that right? And just what they're sharing, it makes sense because each of them, each of them have had their hearts broken, and they may have broken other people's hearts. But this talks about the vibration of these two, right? As I overcome, as I get through, I truly become stronger, not weaker. You know, it's not a weakness to love. But let's face it, there are just, like what I want to say is there are relationships that just aren't meant to last forever. Like some come in for a moment, some come in to teach us something, or we're teaching them. If you look at it from with a spiritual lens, you understand life a little better. Okay, we're either the student or the teacher. I'm learning, I'm growing. I'm learning not to allow the past to predict my present nor my future. I know I deserve the best, but I also have to be what it is that I want. Well, with the Emperor and the Empress sitting here, like, and they're different, but they complement each other so well. It's also interesting how Spirit said that your money and your love were going to be intertwined. Wow. There is no one I feel can work better together than the Emperor and the Empress. Like, I could see them starting a business and being very successful because each brings something different to the table, but they're being appreciated for not just what they have in common, but also their differences. Like, I can learn from you. And by the way, whatever you say to them, I feel like they would say back to you. I love that the Four of Swords is the first card because I feel like that was important. Some of you are very happy to see 2025 fade away. Speaking, and there's our fives. And, of all the fives we got the most difficult ones. But nothing that we cannot overcome. And not only do you overcome it, it truly is, it makes you stronger because of it. All right, it seems on the bottom of the deck. Hello, Two of Wands. How about stepping upon a new path? This is perfect for January. And this is your natural energy. If you didn't have a worry in the world, you would step upon the Two of Wands all day long. What adventure lies out there? And I get this sense of the not knowing should be more like an adventure than fear. Like, I don't know what's waiting for me, but I'm excited to find out. Look at that. Matched by the Two of Swords. That's where you were. Some of you may still be in that. The Two Swords means there's something you don't want to face. That's why she has a blindfold on. And it's like she's stabbing herself because she can't see. Like she's hurting herself by wearing that blindfold. Not only do I recommend you take the blindfold off, but I want to also point out the Four of Swords. And this. So this is a fear-based energy. This is the opposite. All right. Let's bring in the crystal vision and let's go deeper. I don't know why. I feel so excited. All right. Okay. Okay. We're going to start at the beginning, but of course, we're going to read it as a whole. Wow. It's like everything came out together. All right. You went, let me slide these over just a hair. One of these days, I promise you, I'm going to figure out, I already know people are going to say, get a stand, put your phone, but my phone doesn't record. Um, it records like 10 minutes. Anyway. All right. What did we get? Five of Wands. Drama. Fighting. Whatever is ending in these fives, even though I know it's not easy, boy, do I feel like it's time for it to end. Strength card again. So interesting. Again, the Emperor and the Empress are sharing the Strength card. The Strength card now is coming right over the Five of Cups. It's telling you that you can overcome this. Those cups that are knocked over, some could have just been free will. And whatever they were, I mean, I don't want to take away the way it made you feel because it's very clear that this wasn't easy. It's very clear to me. But at the same time, I feel like something ended, and I feel the energy ended. It's almost like the energy ended before the relationship ended. If it even was a relationship. It's going to be different for different people, but, what do you have? One, two, three fives now. There could be three changes coming. We have the Seven of Cups. Question. A cup. The Hermit. This is beautiful. The Hermit coming over the Page of Pentacles, because Page of Pentacles to me, again, is about learning. Our whole life, we're really on this learning adventure. But everything we learn is only going to help us. And I love that the Hermit is there. It's like your spirituality is opening up. And the Hermit is sharing. First of all, I love this image because this Hermit is sitting on a ledge, much like the Fool. But this Hermit it's like, I want to share. I want to share with the world what I have learned. I want to help the world find harmony. And I say the world, just be your group of people. But yet at the same time, you don't want to limit your energy. Like for some of you, like I could see, I don't know, I'm just going to say it. I don't know where this came from, but I could see some of you doing like a TED talk. That is not what I was going to say, but that was just put into my mind like a TED talk. Um, maybe like a podcast. Like I feel like you are spreading spirituality. You may not be using that word because, you may understand that not everyone is going to understand. So you're using like layman terms. All right. Page of Cups, which I feel was your inner child. And dang it, the Two Swords did make its way out. However, you know, it's clear to me why that mask is on. Coming over the moon, this is for those who really are uncomfortable with change. But I have to say, some of you might have a personal year 5 because I do feel these changes. And this blindfold, I feel like you won't help but take it off. Did I say that right? Like you won't, like, I just feel like that blindfold's going to come off. And I get it. I feel like for some, you may be in this difficult energy right now. And it's like, do I stay or do I go? Well, with the fives that are showing, I can't tell you what to do. That is your choice. That's free will. But it's very clear. Just feels kind of empty. Let's put it that way. That is not what wants to be. Like your reading, of course it wants to point out what you've been through, or for some of you, what you're still going through. But if you're still going through that, this is really to give you a sense of optimism. It's hard to believe when your heart is broken that you're going to find like this ultimate love. But listen, it's not just the cards saying that, it's also your guide saying that. And again, think of the Emperor or the Empress. Neither one of them live in a fear based energy. But they had to learn that. Neither one of them allows someone to tell them what to do, unless it helped, like, unless it's giving them a hand up. Like if someone criticizes them, they're not going to fight with them because they know their worth. They know their worth. And I feel like that's what you're figuring out your worth. And I do feel like, potentially you do want to look at yourself in love. That's really what the strength card is about. It's getting to know yourself inside and out, light and shadow. But it then is about balancing that. Seems to be a theme for January where um, money and love seem to be intertwined for a lot. All right, let's keep going though. I'm looking at the Page of Cups over here, and Page can mean a few different things. It can mean someone from like back in the day. Um, it can also mean like energy that is in the atmosphere, and I have a feeling that's what it is. But I also feel like it's talking about your inner child, because that's really where we take the brunt of the pain as it relates to emotions. Hmm. Seven of Swords. Interesting. The Eight of Pentacles. Two eights. And eight also being the number of infinity. As above, so below. No beginning, no end. That makes sense with the Emperor and the Empress. And the Eight of Pentacles, the meaning of the Eight of Pentacles is the willingness to go into something as the apprentice, but knowing that if you focus on it, that whatever you're doing in that energy will only grow. Now, I feel like it also answers love. Like, how do I know that this love will be any different than the love before? Well, if both are willing to put their focus upon it, which the Emperor and the Empress would, then it will grow. And for some of you, I often feel like the best things, the best love, the best opportunities come after the hardest experiences. It's like a reward, so to speak, a degree, right? You have a degree in love now. Remember, in the Eight of Pentacles, this person wants to be the master teacher. That is the goal. And connecting the Emperor and the Empress again. Seven of Swords before that. So it looks like the Empress had dealt with someone. I mean, let's just face it, this is not good energy of what was, not of what wants to be and what is possible, but what was. Like, holy cow. Holy cow. Because I feel like at least the Empress, it's interesting, two sevens, 1 7 over the Emperor and 1 7 over the Empress. And the two eights, 3 8s. Wow. It's like three changes, but three new beginnings. So, anyways, what I was saying is, it looks like the Empress dealt with someone who was untrustworthy, um, who, with the Five of Wands and the Seven of Swords connected. Oh my God, that could not have been easy. It definitely doesn't feel worth a fight. You know what I mean? Like if for some reason I feel like this is my person, hmm, I just don't feel it. Or let me put it a different way. I don't see any. I'm sure they have good qualities, but I feel like they have more hurtful qualities than anything. Okay. The Four of Pentacles over the Ace of Cups. Foundation. It feels like in that energy with the Hermit right above it, it feels like your foundation is stronger than ever. And that means to me that many of you, I want to say you overcame what feels like extreme heartache, an extreme situation. Um, but I do feel like you broke yourself free. And if you haven't, I feel like you will. But I guess each will have to make that decision for themselves. I feel like this is saying, when I fall in love, I do want to think about the foundation, right? I don't want to move too quickly because the foundation of a relationship is everything: friendship, love, business. You know what I mean? Like, I want a strong foundation. Because we have all these fives, which to me feel wobbly, Doesn't feel like a strong foundation at all. To some of you, it could have been like a free will choice that, like I know this energy. I've said it often where, like, after my divorce, I was just, in strange energy. And I went out one night and there was a guy in a dance floor. And I never do this, but I just thought he was so good looking that I went up and I asked him to dance. Well, I literally asked the devil to dance because he turned out to be the devil. And I do mean that. Like it was terrible. And he had me for 5 years and then I got away. But I don't know why I'm saying that. All right, let's keep going. Judgment, your spiritual team. And they are calling you to the present moment. These fives, it's like there is no room for them. I feel like something just made me think of like there's no room at the inn, like Jesus being born. There's no room at the inn. I don't know why that came up. But anyway, so judgment is calling you to the present moment because there is about to be a rebirth. Now, these fives and eights are kind of giving us that clue. I do love the judgment is coming over the Knight of Cups. I'm sorry, the Knight of Wands. So that to me means energy you're going to feel. So this page of cups, even though I do feel it is your inner child, that's where the healing had to take place. I also feel it's what's in the atmosphere. This cup. All right, we have, well, two of wands. And then beautiful, the Seven of Pentacles. So, Seven of Pentacles, the first message is patience. Why? Because this is about planting seeds. Your seeds. Your seeds of intention. I also feel this is your destiny. Like this is your tree of life. Some seeds pre-planted. And I often feel that the Emperor and the Empress plan to come together in a lifetime. But both of them know there is a lot to learn. Like, they are looking at life through a spiritual lens. And they understand that everything is teaching, right? And now they're becoming the teacher, a spiritual teacher. Again, it doesn't mean I'm using spiritual lingo. Some of you may be. But I also want you to think of the Seven of Pentacles as like a garden that you're planting. When you plant a seed, you want to nurture that seed. Well, that's what we have the Empress. You want to give that seed patience to let it come to fruition. But judgment is calling you to the present moment. So I feel like that means the seed is now coming to the present moment. And what are we talking about? Love. We'll be talking about money soon. But right now, this is love. And, something else that I feel with the Seven of Pentacles, if this is your tree of life, then the things that have happened, let's just take free will out for a second. The things that have happened, the lessons that I feel like for some, you had no choice but to learn. We understand that now. And that helps us to overcome. Like judgment would tell you, this is not your first time living life. This is not the first time you've had your heart broken. This is not the first time that the Emperor and the Empress have loved. And judgment. But you take that blindfold off. Face whatever facts you need to face. Be willing to at least, with the Two of Wands, it just merely wants you to take a step. Just a step. And with the Seven of Pentacles, you'll just feel. You'll just know. You'll just know the difference. So, in other words, don't regret. Try hard not to. I know it's easier said than done, but regret doesn't get you anywhere. It just keeps you stuck, right, in these bad memories. Listen, they're the ones who lost, not you, because you are either heading towards the Emperor or the Empress, depending, male or female. But that doesn't even matter. Man, you guys have some difficult lessons in 2025, no doubt. No doubt. A judgment, is grabbing my attention again, okay, you've already talked about the past. Let's now talk about, number one, what the Hermit is doing. Shining that beacon of light, really in the Fool's position. I feel like I want to reach the world. I want to reach the world. I want to reach their souls. Boy, some of you have abilities you may not even know yet. You may know that you have some, but I feel like there are parts of you opening up that you didn't even know existed. There's this saying that, it's not a saying, but there's something that's been stuck in my head. And that is what do I want to say? What was I going to say? The way to true happiness is not through war. It's through peace and love. The path to enlightenment. It's not through this war. It's through you. Your light. Wow. It's almost like someone is talking, trying to help a war not break out. And I don't mean a literal war. Well, in your life, it may feel that way. Well, I shouldn't have said that because I feel like, again, this is you helping others. All right. Before we take the romance angels, well, you know what I think I'm going to do? I'm going to move these here. Slide these in the middle and go right below them. A lot of synchronicities with numbers. There's a lot of 8s, a lot of 5s, and 3 7s that I see. Two twos right here. And 2 soulmates, love, partnership. 9 of swords. Okay, well, I have to say, that doesn't come from the Emperor or the Empress. This is unnecessary worry. But at the same time, it can answer a question because with the 8 of Pentacles above it, it's telling you that this is not something you need to worry about. It's not like your spiritual team doesn't understand, where the worry would come from. But at the same time, your spiritual team would say, if you cleared that energy and look at it from a different like lens, because honestly, I feel like they're the ones who lost. You may be going through the pain right now, but I have a feeling the day will come where, and I don't even care, like part of me doesn't even want to talk about them, but I do feel like a day will come where, maybe you're doing so well. Maybe you are in the spotlight now and you are in love. And I could see them be saying, like, holy shit, what was I thinking? But you know what? It's too late because once the Emperor and the Empress fall in love, and that is a high vibration, and I don't mean an impossible vibration. It just means my spirituality is intact. I'm understanding energy. I'm understanding that not everything's going to work out. But I also know that anything could lie right around the corner. Well, this Ace of Cups is right around the corner. So don't worry, be happy. Hello, Ace of Swords. Truth. Interesting because I do feel some of you dealt with someone who didn't know how to tell the truth. This is all about truth, integrity. Look at the beautiful roses growing up it. Like conversations about love. It is coming right under the Ace of Cups. And now the Ace of Swords. And by the way, it's mirroring the Hermit. You want to talk about communication. Literally, some of you are doing spiritual work. Now, they could also be a ring. 10 of Swords. Connected to Judgment, the Page of Cups, the Five of Pentacles, and the Knight of Wands. It's mirroring the Two of Wands. So, I feel like this is answering a question for some. Let's face it, someone had their hooks in you. No doubt. Someone also played games, mind games. The worst they could, the worst type of games. Someone probably communicated and then would stop communicating, whatever it may be. It's just that you deserve so much more. You deserve so much more. But I feel like your spiritual team really wants you to look at this as everything you have been learning and how strong you truly are becoming. So, this Two of Wands mirroring the 10 of Swords. Coming into your spiritual team, I feel like it answers a question for you. Some may say, I don't know if I'm ready to give up on someone, let's say. Well, the 10 of Swords to me is a repeat pattern. Could be a karmic pull. And it may be the lesson. I have to claim my self-worth. I have to know I don't deserve these daggers. I gotta know when enough is enough. I gotta know when to hold 'em. I gotta know when to fold 'em. I gotta know when to walk away. I gotta know when to run. Run. Okay. So, let's just call that over. And if we don't call it over, then you're just kind of hanging on to that energy. And I'm telling you, it's not going to serve you moving forward. What will serve you is just understanding. And keeping hope alive. And here's the thing. Again, the vibration of the Emperor and the Empress, there's nothing they can't overcome. And they truly have learned that this is what life is about. And I just know from my many, many, many years of doing this that when we go through something what feels very difficult, but then we allow that to end, I always feel like there's a beautiful blessing waiting. Well, what a blessing. If we got rid of everything that was and only looked at what wants to be, which would be the Emperor, the Empress, the Ace of Cups, the Ace of Swords, even the Hermit, right? It's the completion of 2025 and everything you've learned. And it may be asking you, literally, maybe the last 9 years. What did you learn? What has it taught you? Who have you become because of it? Um, you know, I'm going to do it. I was torn whether I want to do something, but I'm going to do it because I feel like I want to get the past out of here because it is over. And I know I say that like, well, I'm saying it, but I know some may not want to hear that. But in the same breath, I feel like, but I also have to be honest. All right, I'm going to pick up these and I'm going to look at, I do want to keep Judgment out, the Hermit. Let's pick up this. Now, let's put the Ace of Cups right between them. And let's put the Hermit, Judgment, your spiritual team, and then the Ace of Swords. It's almost like your spiritual team is trying to communicate with you. So I want to look at this energy. What I think about, I bring about quickly. That's how fast the Emperor and the Empress can manifest. What I think about, I bring about. Eight, infinity, new beginning. Look at this, the Empress right over the Ace of Cups now, connecting also to Judgment. What else is interesting is the Eight of Wands is connecting the Hermit and it's not connecting, but the Hermit and the Empress. And then you add the Eight of Wands there. Well, the Hermit representing 2025 and everything you have learned. And then this eight is like, okay, let's move out of 2025 and let's move into January. Let's be present. That's what Judgment wants you to do. Present mind. This is where I send your signs. This is how I guide you in the present moment. Well, both the Emperor and the Empress live in the present moment. Doesn't mean they don't plan for the future, especially the Emperor, because the Emperor is methodical, does like to put plans in place. And this is the difference between them. But again, they complement each other so well. I just realized we have 33. Something else has been following us. 33. I feel like this may be, listen, the month, if not the year, to master love. So if we're here to master love, let's say starting in January, I mean, why put it off, right? Then everything we've been through, we can't look at it and be like, I regret that, I regret that. Instead, I'm telling you, please look at it from a different lens. Look at it from a spiritual lens. Because once the Emperor and the Empress come together, I don't feel like anything can split them apart. But they don't become the Emperor and the Empress overnight. I feel like the Empress has gone through all the lessons of the queens, the lessons and the blessings. And I feel like the Emperor has gone through all the lessons and blessings of the kings. Anyway, and that's a lot of wisdom. And it's a type of wisdom where sometimes you don't know how you know something. You just know that you know it. Well, that's your spirituality. That's your spirit team. That's you. That's your higher self. Eight of Wands, new beginning. But again, the energy of what I think about, I bring about. We have King of Pentacles. Can be Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn, but it doesn't have to be. When I think of the King of Pentacles, there's a few things I think about. First of all, how they look at life. They look at life from the big picture, where the Queen of Pentacles really breaks it down, but maybe it's not asking you to break it down at this point. Maybe you already have. And now it's looking at the big picture and understanding the big picture. Another thing I feel with this king, especially connected to that Ace of Swords, in the upright, I do feel this is someone who's loyal, steady, stable, someone I can count on, and they can count on me. Okay, let's go right below. Hello, Magician. Hello, 2026. So, this is wild because here's 2025 through the Hermit. Done. Here's the beginning. Well, no, the whole year will be the energy of the Magician, the Alchemist. You are the Alchemist. And what you think about, you bring about. And think that if you are in the Empress's energy or the Empress energy, and then what you think about, you bring about, wow. Like, I would just get excited. The magician is also a great mentor. The magician teaches us that we truly have all the tools that we need to be successful in this life. We just have to realize that. And these aren't tools that you can see. It's like your intuition is your GPS. Justice, that sword. It's to use to cut ties whenever you need it. Sometimes it's energetic ties. There's many gifts we were given. It's like our spiritual team. They were assigned to you before you even came into this lifetime. They were assigned to you individually. Each of us has our own spiritual team. But at this table, they work together. I mean, the magician, what I think about, I bring about. No doubt. And you're doing it like out of a spiritual lens. I'm glad I broke this down. I know it's going to make your reading longer, but so be it. The Nine of Wands. Well, that is reflection back. This is what I've been talking about. Like, this is reflecting back, but saying to oneself, like, look at the things that I have overcome. look at the experiences that I've had, the adventures. Everyone behind this person is something they've been through. And I call this person my spirit warrior. Why? Because they're looking back without judgment. They're truly looking back to see how they have grown. Not regret. Not what was I thinking. What was I learning? What did I learn? What can I now teach? Some of you, I feel like you're becoming the teacher. But also remember, nines are final reflection, because you got to get busy loving here. Look at this. The Knight of Pentacles, one of my favorite knights. I don't know why I say that. This, to me, is guardian angel energy, a special spiritual guide who wants to help you in your love. Now, this knight comes with a couple messages. Its first message is patience. This knight tells you, I come at the right time, not before, not after. Why? Well, because what I bring may not have worked in the prior energy. So when I show up, you know it's the right time. Oh my God. And look at this. So this knight is bringing in a pentacle. And that means that something is coming into your physical world. It's tangible, touchable. It's kissable. Look at that. We can go the whole way back to the beginning of the reading, to the Five of Cups, where we saw these two cups behind, right? Once that change was made. This isn't just anyone ushering this in. You know what this feels like to me? It just feels like it's divine time. Like this was the timing. The Emperor and the Empress, they had to learn the lessons. That's how they become who they are. And let me tell you something. The Empress is very loving and nurturing, but she's very powerful. And so is the Emperor. And I feel like you cannot pull the wool over their eyes. Why? I've been there. I've done that. I can read your energy before you even walk in my room. I'm blown away right now. Year one. Year of the Magician. What you think about, you bring about. And you bring it about. But do I love that it's coming on the back of the Knight of Pentacles? This tells you it's the right time. This means that your spiritual team trust. That's not the right word. Well, I feel like they know that you'll move into it. You'll see it for what it is. You'll feel the value of it. And it is what you've been thinking about. And you're bringing it about. Wow. There is no one else that I would rather see bring in this Ace of Cups than the Knight of Pentacles. I'm telling you. I feel like you can ask yourself a couple questions. Do you feel like your own vibration is lifting? And don't shoot for perfection. You're not going to find it. You just be the best that you can be. You know, I'm not going to say the Emperor and the Empress have no issues in their life. It's just how they handle them. Yeah, they don't freak out. And if it's them, any issue with them, they'll talk it out. That's what that Ace of Swords is. It's the truth. It's the integrity of this love. And the beautiful roses and butterflies. All of a sudden, I feel like I had to say butterflies. Like that's someone's word. I mean, it's like I don't want to end this, but I have to. So let's go ahead and bring in the romance angels. I have a feeling your reading is going to be the longest. You know, it's interesting when I say that because many times when I'm done with the reading and I get ready to upload it, I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe it was that long. Because for me, it feels like it's like 20 minutes. I mean, even though, like, energetic wise, I leave it all on the table for you. All right, romance angels. New love. A new person has stirred your romantic feelings. Wow. New love. By the way, I'm saying new love, but I want you to remember that soulmates, they're soul connected for eternity. Not all soulmates are meant to be forever, but there is one that is. And that is what I feel like we're finding here. Oh, okay. Then we have attraction. You attract romantic love by enjoying this moment fully. That's what your spiritual team is saying also. And then last but not least, passion. Allow your heart, allow your heart and soul to sing with joy. La. Amen, amen, amen. Okay. Wow. What a love reading, Leo. I could leave it right there, but I want to do your money. And we'll see. We'll see how the Emperor and the Empress moving into the money sector, um, how they'll be connected. You know, no one would be better at creating a business together than the Emperor and the Empress. You know, they both have that wisdom. Just want to make some room at the table. All right. All right, so we're going to use the unknown deck. Someone may know the name. Just show you the back of it. I'm sure I got rid of the box years ago. Oh, did I cut these? All right, another shuffle then. Let's give them a cut. Oh, you know, it's interesting. They feel heavy. I don't know if any other tarot readers out there know what I mean, but they just feel heavy. Let me grab a drink real quick. Because that was a lot of talking. All right. Money, 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 money. Your major arcana again. Strength, 8. Three of Swords. So the Strength card connected to the Three of Swords, overcoming. Look at this. And then your ruler, the Sun, your illuminator. This is where you belong. This is like your playful energy. You know, it does have the Three of Swords before or in between your two major arcanas, which is interesting. But I feel like the Strength card is the overcoming of the Three of Swords. The Sun is a brand new day and a beautiful day. Not a cloud in the sky. The Star. Your hopes, your dreams, and your wishes. Right by the Sun. You know, think of when I was talking about your garden in the Seven of Pentacles. Well, here's the Sun nurturing your dreams, your wishes, and helping you to bring them to fruition. The Sun means even the signs will be very clear. So we had one hell of a love reading, and already we see in your money like something. And you know, this person is naked, and that means they're being their authentic self. It's calling for your authentic self. You don't have to pretend to be anyone else. You got what it takes. You got what it takes. Be who you are. Oh my God. Well, here's love. Soulmates. You know, if this isn't love, this is the perfect person to maybe collaborate with. But do I feel like it is now the Emperor and the Empress? I do. I do. Look at that. The Star. Two of Cups on one side, the Sun on the other. I feel like there's nothing that you cannot manifest, but think about that. All right, let's keep going. Ace of Pentacles. So we literally just saw the Knight of Pentacles in love. And now we have the Ace of Pentacles following the Soulmates under the Strength card. And just like I said earlier, it is after those difficult lessons where we start to see blessings. This is the way to what? Whatever it is you want. You know, and I would definitely feel like the Sun is your spotlight. Just like Spirit said, spotlight is meant for you this month. Well, that's what the Sun feels like. Oh my gosh. What a month you're going to have. Holy cow. This is successful self-employment. Doesn't have to be self-employment though. It's success. It really means that you're going to start seeing fruits of your labor. So if you already, well, you know, again, it doesn't have to be self-employment. But if you have a business, like, hang on to your hat, baby. Hang on to your hat. And some of you, you know, I say this all the time in the readings, like when you're going through something difficult, like heartache or what have you, for many, like moving into your creative house, number one, it helps you to refocus the mind. when you have a dog that's being like out of control, and then you say squirrel and it stops, right? You just refocus their mind. Some of you may do something like that. And this Ace of Pentacles connected to the Nine of Pentacles kind of turns into the Ten of Pentacles. We'll see if we get it. Not that we even need it. This is independence. This is the ability to take care of you. It can talk about riches, but we all measure that in a different way. One of the riches is love. And I can't help but think of the hermit who was sitting on not just a ledge, but at the top of the mountain, like overlooking the world. So whatever the hermit is going to speak, it is like the world is hearing it. Now you are the hermit here. Wow. I feel like anything that's felt stuck as it relates to your money and career. I say money and career, but I also want to add in like side hustles that may become main hustles. I've been feeling that a lot for January. Like things I may have worked like on in the evening after work, maybe what I actually do for a living. You would need to take those bold steps. But if anybody is willing to take bold steps, it's you. Your money is being illuminated, not just love, but also your money, your abilities. This month feels like it's going to blow you away with how it feels easy it is to manifest. So you really want to think about what you're thinking about. And then be willing to put action behind that. Remember, that's important. Like what I think about, I manifest. But then it requires action, like in the Nine of Pentacles, right? That is my hard work. But I am the one who reaps the benefits of that. And this Ace of Pentacles just feels like a blessing. It feels like a lift up, like let's say you work for the man or woman, it feels like a raise or a promotion. Something is happening because, again, the spotlight is on you. Those of you who have like creative, like singers, um, writers, there's a long list. Like, I feel like this is the time to really be true to yourself and your dreams. Because this is, I feel like I want to say this is the year you've been waiting for. And here it is. Come on. Holy shit. In the best of ways. The Ten of Pentacles. The Nine of Pentacles. I literally just said, if we add that ace, that brings us to the Ten of Pentacles. Here it is. Under the sun. Under the sun. Wow. Wow. What? Listen, this is just the beginning. Leo, this is a year I would get excited. This is a year that I would pour your energy into whatever it is that you've been wanting to do, know that I feel like you're already good at it. And I don't even know what I'm talking about, but I feel it. And then we have the Six of Cups, nostalgia, happy memories, under the star, Five of Cups, and then the Hierophant. So I'm going to take the Hierophant with, oh, I just realized two fives together. So mirroring this Ace of Pentacles, the Hierophant, card of Taurus. But the Hierophant really wants you to question like your morals, like you're living life according to your standards. I often feel the Hierophant is about to bless a situation, a life, or lives. And why? Because I am now living within my morals. I'm not lowering my standards for anyone, even a boss. Change. And what I love about the Hierophant, there's two keys right here, and I often feel like these are the keys to your kingdom. But it comes through your faith, your belief, morals, whatever it may be. See what's on the bottom of the deck. Justice. Card of Libra. But there's that sword I was talking about. The Magician underneath that. Wow. Three of Cups underneath that. Okay, we're not going to go back any further. But Justice. It's like you know that you are the alchemist this year. And you're using that sword to cut whatever ties are not going to fit into the life that you see for yourself. I feel some of you, it's like you're believing again, you're dreaming again. All right, let's bring in the Gilded Tarot. All of a sudden, it got super windy out, so I'm worried I'm going to lose my internet. It's like I live in a third world country. Because I am out in the country, but not that far onto the country where my internet shouldn't go off every time the wind blows. Okay. I feel like there's nothing off the table for you. It literally just feels like whatever your wishes are, they feel like they're about to be granted. As long as you're willing to put whatever action is needed. But everything is showing me that you are. We have the Ten of Wands coming over the Strength card. Ten of Wands means that you've been in a period where there was a lot of responsibilities. Everything feels like it fell on your shoulders. It is mirroring the Two of Cups right now, so it can even talk about love. But even money, or let's just say your work. For some of you, this has been about you laying the groundwork for what is about to manifest. Well, you're manifesting it. And, like the Ten of Wands, it is heavy energy. But if it is laying the groundwork, then that's a good thing. Because now it feels like it's time. The groundwork has been laid. Here is this Ace of Pentacles. Let's go. And some of you may want to ask yourself that question. Do you have the tendency of putting everything on your shoulders? I know as a Virgo, I do. like when I used to work in the world, I was manager of fitness and spas. And I just had a tendency to put it all on my shoulders. Why? Because I thought no one can do it better. So I might as well do it myself. Well, what did I have to learn? The art of delegation or suffer burnout. Even when I do tarot readings, like I've been learning more and more that I have to disconnect here and there. And just like regain my energy. Ten of Swords over the Three of Swords. So again, like it answers the question. If I was connected to whatever it is, and I'm thinking about staying in that energy, thinking it will get better. I feel like your spiritual team is just showing you over and over. But we're talking about money here. And it does feel like, some of you may work at a company where, so much responsibility is on you, but I don't feel you're happy. Queen of Pentacles, my psychic detective. My psychic detective. And with the sun, there's nothing she can't see. Some of you, that may be a clue. Like some of you have like your psychic abilities opening up. I truly feel we're all psychic. It's just when we open that up, if we hone in on it. But it doesn't even have to mean you do it for a living, but you're using that. You know, for some of you, this is great like energy for like an attorney, anyone who needs help, finding those details that other people try to hide, like reading a will where like family said, oh no, you were left out of this and that, but then you take it to the Queen of Pentacles. She's like, well, I found a clause that everybody else just skimmed over. I wish I could do this every month where I broke love and money apart, but I don't know. I just feel like, I mean, we'll see. We'll see. Beautiful. The Fool over the Star. So you're going to be asked to take a leap of faith. Fool is a great representation for 2026. Fool is brand new, fresh, has extracted the wisdom of the past, but the past does not travel along with the Fool. The Fool's in the present moment. It reminds me of like the story I was telling you about when I was on my bike and the freedom that I felt. I wasn't really free, right? I had parents I had to answer to. But when I was out on my bike, I felt free. And I don't know why I keep talking about that. It feels like an opportunity. Just how Spirit said that, and I say this all the time about you, but to actually hear your guide say that you belong in the spotlight this month. And it's probably going to be for the rest of the year. This is just the opening of it, like the beginning. The Fool, the willingness to take a leap of faith. Well, it is right over your dreams, your hopes, and your wishes. So it is manifesting, and then you will make the decision whether you take the leap of faith or not. Even the Hierophant being here. right? All about faith. Okay. All right. Let's take these first because they came out first. There's that King of Pentacles again. And look at this. The Queen of Pentacles, the King of Pentacles. Like-minded energy. Different. She's the one who can see those details that other people miss, and he's the one who looks at the big picture. I feel like they are the Emperor and the Empress. Oh my gosh. Hello, lovers. Hello, lovers. Card of Gemini. The meaning of the card is a head over heart decision. Look at the energy. Look at the feminine. She's like, baby, I feel you. I feel you. I feel you're coming in. Maybe I don't know how, why, but I feel it. And yes, it may be asking you to take, again, a leap of faith or make that head over heart decision. But I don't know how you're going to be able to deny the feeling of the masculine. Right over that Ace of Pentacles. And then the Chariot. Unlimited potential. The Chariot is driven by your intentions. Keep that in mind. Not by the reins of the horse. You tell the Chariot where to go. If you believe you have unlimited potential, then you have unlimited potential. The Chariot does need balance, and that means balance of the light and shadow within ourselves, the feminine and the masculine. I kind of feel like the feminine and the masculine, though, is our Emperor and our Empress. This is a card of Cancer, by the way. I don't know if I said that. It's coming right over your Nine of Pentacles, your success. And it is taking you away from the Ten of Swords and the Three of Swords. It's you moving on from it. King of Cups over the Ten of Cups. Well, sitting right next to Cancer. It can be Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, but it doesn't have to be any of that. King of Cups to me, in the upright, is someone who really appreciates having that special partner by their side. You know, in their younger years, yeah, they may have dated a lot, what have you, but in the here and now, I feel like this is someone who wants to settle down. This is someone who wants to give of themselves. Um, and it's interesting that this is following in your money, but it is. Some of you may be working together with a love. And you may be doing it from home. We have the Six of Pentacles over the Six of Cups. So, this is empathetic and compassionate energy. Six of Pentacles is about learning that fine art of give and take. You know, sometimes the lesson within this may be, you know, do I tend to give, but then I don't receive and I accept that? I really feel like what this is talking about, though, is the compassion and the empathy that you carry in your heart and how you're going to help others due to that. You know, like I could see you, you know, I want to say volunteering, but I feel like you're doing something that is earning you money. It's like your spiritual team is saying, we know how compassionate you are. Listen, I'm not going to say you were always that way because, this is something that we learn. Well, I don't know. I shouldn't have said that because I do feel like you always have been this way. You had to hone in on it. Let's put it that way. Sometimes we have to learn how to receive, which sounds silly, right? Like it's easier to give than to receive for many. And we have to learn how to allow our hearts to receive. And these wishes coming true in the star, I also feel it's because of your compassion and empathy. Like, I feel like you didn't lose it. Now you're just honing in on it. Like, who to give a hand up to. I'm no longer giving handouts. A hand up? Yes. All day long. And then look at this. Wow. Listen, Leo, I feel like you may get an epiphany that turns into a business. This is your inspiration, but your spiritual team is putting it within you. So, ideas that can create true abundance for yourself. And I do feel another. Ace of Wands mirroring the Lovers. Wow, wow, wow. Ace of Wands right under the Soulmates. Wow, wow, wow. Even that we got the King and Queen of Pentacles. To me, they are the Emperor and the Empress. I just get this feeling that, well, let's just put it this way. I feel like there can be an opportunity for two to work together, to love together, but also to work together. And why not? Because I feel like you two will understand each other better than anyone has understood you before. There will be a sense of familiar energy with this person. And I know we're talking about love, but I just feel like they're part of it. Whether they are simply building you up, you know what I mean? Like telling you, go after those dreams. You'd be great at that. Or whether they actually become a part of that. I really feel like that's going to be left up to you, but I feel the ability is here. All right, we're going to go right below, and then we'll let it be. Interesting. I just said let it be. High Priestess, your intuition. That's what you want to trust. That's what you want to follow. Your higher self. But remember, your intuition is your GPS. That first instinct. And learning not to doubt it. It's interesting, I just said, and learning not to doubt it. And then we get the Nine of Swords. But this Nine of Swords is mirroring the Ten of Swords. And again, it is unnecessary worry. So some of you may have a worry that this dream may not take flight. But everything is telling us the opposite. Some of you, there could have just been a job that you were in where you had enough. I do get the sense of I've had enough of something. But that may be the exact energy where these epiphanies start to come in and then you start building. You start creating. Do not forget, the Ace of Pentacles goes into the Nine of Pentacles. The Nine of Pentacles goes into the Ten of Pentacles. And in the Ten of Pentacles, you're not alone. This is also beautiful energy of working from home. I feel like the Nine of Swords is just a little bit of doubt. But your spiritual team is telling you, you don't have to doubt. You don't have to doubt. Hierophant again. So we have double Taurus and the star again, which is actually mirroring the star. So how interesting. I feel like not only do you, or not only will this epiphany be given to you, but it's going to be given to your soulmate. I get the sense that I want to say you're made to work together, but I don't want to put that stress on you. You know what I mean? Because maybe you don't work together. But boy, are you supporting each other's dreams? And who knows? Maybe this is how you meet. Because you both have similar interest, which may connect you in some way. All right, let's try to get our last card out. In my mind's eye, I saw someone on a stage doing a play. You're in a play, and someone else in that play is your soulmate. Now, I know not everyone is in a play, um, but I feel like it's the reason why I'm seeing that is just how it's going to meet. So I'm doing something that I thoroughly enjoy, even though it takes a lot of work. And lo and behold, someone else that thoroughly enjoys the same thing. You become connected. Whoa. Hello, Ace of Cups. So when Spirit said love was going to follow you into your money, here it is. But let me tell you, I also feel this is a love of what you do. Like Leo, I feel like many of you are so ready to say goodbye to 2025 and hello 2026. By the way, Happy New Year. I keep forgetting to say that in the beginning. Look at this Ace of Cups coming under the Ace of Wands, coming under the Soulmates. What else do I have? Justice and the Strength card. I feel like what this is saying is because we have some worry here, but it is unnecessary. I feel like justice is showing because there may be some energetic ties that really have been yet that need cut, let's say. But I do feel like it's connected to you. So it's not about worrying, it's about knowing what ties need to be cut so that I can live my best potential. It feels like two people's dreams are coming true in your money sector. It feels like wherever you want to put your energy. And it again feels like something that you've already wished for. Maybe even planted that seed. And here is that seed. and it inspires you. And I love that you got the Ace of Cups because I feel like what is better than loving what you do and potentially loving the person you do it with? Now, I know that's not going to be for everyone, but if you don't work together, then you're going to support each other energetically with loving terms, like you go get them. Someone who's going to say, yes, the spotlight does need to be on you, not jealous because the spotlight is on you. But I feel you will feel the same way about them. So there's beautiful energy of collaborating if one chooses. That's not going to stop anything if you choose not to. And I feel like, honestly, just allow that to unfold naturally. But holy cow, your January, my God, this is just the beginning of, well, the rest of your life. But what a way to open up the year. It's like I had talked about 2025 and the year of the hermit and what it meant, right? The clearing of the past, extracting the spiritual wisdom so that we go into year one, new beginning. We're ready. And that's exactly what it looks like here. Goodbye, 2025, and hello, 2026. Wow. All right. I think I'm going to let that be. Um, yeah, I think I'm going to let that be. I just feel like there's nothing off the table for you. Like, truly, I feel like what this is saying is think about what it is you want to do and then put those intentions out there and watch them come back. This is such an abundant reading in all areas of your life. But listen, that's because of you. That's because you deserve it. And even this love is divine timing. Just the way it was ushered in through the Knight of Pentacles, who asked for patience, right? But then judgment comes out. The days of patience are over. It's now a time of action. Even Mother Mary said that, right? Be strong. I pull myself up and do what needs to be done. Some of you, it can be a brand new job. And I definitely feel some of you are creating a business. Or if you already have one, you're going to really start seeing, I feel like 2026 is going to be a very lucrative year for you in all areas. And I couldn't be happier. I could not be happier for you. The one thing I want to say is how quickly do these things open up? You have a lot to say here, right? Like it all started with letting the past go, believing in yourself again, and the rest just follows. And I'm going to stop talking. I love you guys. Your readings are always so deep and so interesting. I love doing them, and I love you. I'll see you next time at our table. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Bye bye.